Now that we've cut the faces and we have a thinner tenon to deal with, we'll retransfer the lines for the shoulders here from the end back onto the face so that we can see as we're cutting down the face. And you can do that either on the scroll saw or with a pull saw or the back saw. And the reason for doing this is that it is much easier, especially on the scroll saw, to deal with a slightly thinner tenon than the full 3/4 inch thickness of the poplar. Even though the poplar is pretty soft as hardwoods go, the scroll saws still don't like it. So making this thin and then spending a little bit of time redoing that layout, I've decided is worth it. So it's easiest to use the combo square set to a very thin depth. So we can put it here, line it up with the mark that's already there, and then transfer down to the face, making sure to keep the lip flush against the end as we do this. And if you're going to do the scroll saw, you really only need to do the top that you're going to see. But if you're going to do a hand saw, if you would prefer that, then you really need to do both sides to make sure that you don't have twist to the side. So we'll do that on all of the tenons for all 4 of our boards. All right, with our tenons marked again on the face, and I've done both sides on this one because I'm going to show cutting with the pull saws that we have. Remember, the waist is these outside corners here, not the middle. That's the one piece that we want to retain. That is our tenon. So I'm going to put my thumb right on the line here, and I'm going to cut on a diagonal as close to the line as I can make it, going forward to set up a nice indentation there for my blade. And then once I've done that, and I'm looking at both this line and this line to make sure I'm following both of them and making adjustments, cutting down on an angle, and once I have a nice angle there, I can drop my hand getting as close to that line as I can, but not crossing the line, either the one on the end or on the face. Alright, once I get it down to the shoulder, take this guy, flip it, and turn it in my vise so that I can cut straight down. And I'm going to use this corner here that I made with the router table and use this little lip to help guide my saw. And then I have here a little bit that needs to be shaved and cleaned up. Flip. Do the same thing on the other side. There we go. Alright, and there's our pull saw, and we'll have a little bit of cleanup with chisels on this side, and you can see I've got a little bit below the line there, so that might need to be filed or chiseled down. Oh, there we go, on camera. A little bit that's going to need to be filed or chiseled down. That's okay. It's better to have a little too much here and have to file it down than if cut it too small already. And compare this guy to the mortise layout that I have on, here we go. So that should be the length of the tenon here. And it's looking like it's within tolerances, and I'm glad that I didn't cut any more as it is. All right, next up is cutting the other side, and we'll do that one at the scroll saw. All right, we're at the scroll saw, and I have put on the scroll saw a wide blade because we're going to want to be making straight cuts here, and we want the cuts to stay as straight as possible. And we'll be cutting in along the length of the tenon and then on the shoulder. Alright, we have our tenon cut. Notice the lines are still present on our tenon. We want to make sure that we're cutting on the waist side of the line, and then we can clean it up with a chisel or a rasp or a file once we have the mortise cut and we start doing our test fits.